I happened to watch this very interesting TED Talk by Tony Robbins where he says emotions lead to success. Is that so? This is a layman's third perspective on the difference between passion and emotion. Welcome to Think Third Perspective. Let's listen to him.
I'm here because I believe emotion is the force of life. All of us here have great minds. Most of us here have great minds, right? I don't know if I'm in the category, but we all know how to think. And with our minds, we can rationalize anything. We can make anything happen. We can, I agree with what was described a few days ago about this idea that people work in their self-interest. But we all know that that's bullshit at times. You don't work in your self-interest all the time. Because when emotion comes into it, the wiring changes in the way it functions.
He's absolutely right. When you get angry, you might say something and you might lose an opportunity. Think about it. When you're in office and your boss tells you something and you get angry, you might even lose your job. Okay, let's listen to him more.
But if you ask people, why didn't you achieve something? Somebody who's working for you, or a partner, or even yourself, and you failed to achieve a goal, what's the reason people say they failed to achieve? What do they tell you? Didn't know enough, didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the money, didn't have the time, didn't have the technology, I didn't have the right manager. Didn't have the Supreme Court.
That was Al Gore there in the audience. You know that Al Gore used to be the vice president to President Bill Clinton for 8 years. And he ran for the president and he lost to President George Bush by a ruling from the Supreme Court. Can you imagine? The history of the world would have been different maybe if he had won, and that too from a ruling from the Supreme Court. So let's listen to the talk.
What do all those, including the Supreme Court, have in common? They are a claim to you missing resources. And they may be accurate. You may not have the money. You may not have the Supreme Court. But that is not the defining factor. The defining factor is never resources, it's resourcefulness. And what I mean specifically, rather than just some phrase, is if you have emotion, human emotion, something that I experienced from you day before yesterday at a level that is as profound as I've ever experienced, and if you'd communicated with that emotion, I believe you would have beat his ass and won.
I don't get it. How do you experience an emotion when you're with somebody? They might get angry, they might get sad, they might shout, but you can't say I experienced emotion. That's something which I don't get. Let's listen to him more.
But I know when we watched a debate, at that time, there were emotions that blocked people's ability to get this man's intellect and capacity and the way they came across to some people in that day. Because I know people that wanted to vote in your direction and didn't, and I was upset. But there was emotion that was there. So emotion is it, and if we get the right emotion, we can get ourselves to do anything. We can get through it.
I don't get it. Al Gore is a very seasoned politician. How can he not have the right emotion for a debate? Or is Tony Robbins getting it wrong? When you look at it, it is actually the emotion that made him lose. Because once he lost the election, for a whole year, he grew a beard and he gave up politics because he was devastated by the loss. So when you look at it, in reality, emotion is what made Al Gore lose. So then what is Tony Robbins referring to? I think he's getting confused between passion and emotion. Passion is what you need, not emotion. Because there are three differences between passion and emotion. The first one is where emotion is about the result. So if you are interested in cooking, if you're passionate about it, it is about doing it. It's not about the result. Whereas emotion comes in based on somebody giving you a compliment. And now let's look at the second aspect. Passion is constant. If you are passionate about gardening, you don't mind spending hours in your garden. But if you're emotional, it's all about the result. Emotion comes and goes. If your garden doesn't turn out well, the flowers do not blossom well, that emotion comes and goes. It is not ever constant. Passion remains constant all the way through. And the third one is passion comes from within. If you're passionate about something, that comes from within you. You might be passionate about watching old movies, passionate about music, passionate about gardening. Passion is different for different people. Whereas emotion is always triggered by an external source. Your boss has to say you've done a good job. Somebody has to appreciate the way you cooked. Or the result of your gardening should be good. See, always when you say somebody is passionate, it's a positive trait. Is it positive when you say somebody is emotional? Do you want to be with the emotional guy? We want to be with people who are passionate. So this is a layman's third perspective on the difference between passion and emotion. If you find this video useful, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.